The rain fell softly on Arlington National Cemetery as mourners gathered for General Richard Hartman's funeral. Among the sea of pressed uniforms and polished medals stood an old man in a threadbare suit, his shoulders bent with age but his eyes fixed on the flag-draped coffin with an intensity that spoke of profound loss. Thomas Riley had traveled 3 days by bus to be here, spending his last dollars on the ticket dot at the cemetery entrance. A young officer in pristine dress blues stepped forward, clipboard in hand. "Excuse me, sir," he said, his tone professionally distant. "This is a private military funeral. I'll need to see your invitation." Thomas fumbled in his coat pocket, producing a crumpled newspaper clipping announcing the general's death. "I don't have an invitation," he said quietly. "But Richard was my friend. We served together." The officer's eyes scanned Thomas's worn clothing, the scuffed shoes, the suit that had seen better decades. "I'm sorry, sir, but without proper authorization, I can't allow you past this point. Family and official military personnel only?" Other security personnel began to gather, forming a polite but firm barrier. Thomas tried to explain, his voice cracking with emotion. "Please, I served with him in Vietnam. We were in the same unit. I need to say goodbye." A senior officer approached, his chest heavy with ribbons. "Sir, we have protocols. General Hartman was a high-ranking official. We can't make exceptions." The words stung more than any wound Thomas had carried from the war. He nodded slowly, accepting defeat the way he'd accepted so many disappointments in his life since coming home. He turned to leave, his chance to honor his friend slipping away like rain through his fingers, but inside the ceremony tent, General James Patterson, a 4-star general and the highest-ranking officer present, was delivering the eulogy. He spoke of Hartman's decorated career, his leadership, his sacrifice. Then his voice grew softer, more personal. "But Dick Hartman would want me to tell you about the man who saved his life. In 1968, in a jungle hell I cannot name, a young soldier threw himself on a grenade to protect his unit. The grenade malfunctioned, but his courage didn't. That soldier carried Dick for 3 miles through enemy territory after he was wounded, refusing to leave him behind. Dick spent 50 years trying to find that man to thank him properly. His name was Thomas Riley." Patterson paused, scanning the crowd. "Is Thomas Riley here today?" Silence answered him. A major near the entrance suddenly remembered the old man they'd turned away. His face went pale. "Sir," he whispered urgently to another officer, "we stopped someone at the gate." An old man with no invitation. Within seconds, the message reached Patterson. His jaw tightened, and without a word, he stepped down from the podium and walked toward the entrance with purposeful strides that made mourners part like water. Thomas was halfway down the road when he heard boots on pavement behind him. He turned to see General Patterson, followed by a procession of officers, walking through the rain toward him. The 4-star general came to attention 10 feet away and raised his hand in the sharpest salute Thomas had seen in 50 years. Every officer behind him did the same. "Mr. Riley," Patterson's voice carried over the rain, "General Hartman left specific instructions. He wanted you here more than anyone. He never stopped looking for you." Tears mixed with rain on Thomas's weathered face. Patterson approached and gently took his arm. "He left something for you." The general personally escorted Thomas to the front row, where a seat had been reserved with a small sign, "For the bravest man I ever knew." On the chair lay a Purple Heart and a handwritten letter from Hartman. Thanked him for the gift of life and apologizing for not finding him. Sooner dawed as the ceremony concluded and rifles fired their salute. Thomas stood among generals and dignitaries, no longer invisible, no longer forgotten. The old soldier finally received the recognition he'd never sought but deeply deserved, not just from the military, but from the friend whose life he'd saved and who'd never stopped honoring that bond. If this story moved you and reminded you that true heroism often goes unnoticed until the right moment, please subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications for more powerful stories. Share this with someone who needs inspiration today, and tell us in the comments about unsung heroes in your own life. Your support helps us share stories that matter. Thank you for being here.